Can you enjoy art even if you hate the artist? Separating the art from the artist is a thought in art theory. Art theory involves examining how art is created, perceived, and interpreted, as well as how it functions within cultural, social, and political contexts. The context that I'm talking about is the controversy around J.K. Rowling and the Harry Potter franchise. I won't be talking about the specifics of J.K.'s thoughts about trans people because, frankly, the video is not about that, and I don't really want to perpetuate a bunch of thoughts that just seem to cause arguments. I will be using the game Hogwarts Legacy to discuss the subject of separating art from artist. And I'll also be painting my favorite character from the series, so you can enjoy some painting while we talk. So, context. So J.K. Rowling is the author of Harry Potter, which became a huge franchise, and on Feb 10th, 2023, the game based on that franchise, Hogwarts Legacy, was released. As J.K. has expressed some controversial views about trans people over the last few years, there is a large community online that don't want to play the game and that are against playing it because they believe that supporting any product that she's associated with is akin to supporting her and her thoughts. Hence the question, can you enjoy art even if you hate the artist? More specifically to our context, can we enjoy the work of J.K. Rowling if we don't agree with how she thinks? Well, I believe there are good arguments on both sides. So the best argument I can think of for still enjoying her work, even if it supports her financially, I think is best explained in two parts. First, she didn't create the work to support the views that she now holds that caused so much controversy. More specifically, she didn't create Harry Potter or the franchise or series to spread any of the anti-trans rhetoric she now spreads on Twitter. The point here is that the story of Harry Potter is about something else entirely, and you can enjoy it without even addressing the topic of trans people. The second part to this argument is that the artist does not have control over how the audience consume their work. Yes, they can influence the perceptions, of course, but we, the audience, decide ultimately what the art means to us. And I think with Harry Potter, there are a lot of things that each of us can enjoy that have nothing to do with what Jo intended when she wrote the story. Now, here's my best argument for the other side. The other side being essentially, no, we can't enjoy someone's art if we hate the artist. What do you think about the idea that the artist will always make work that represents them? That the artist will always, at least subconsciously, include their thoughts in their work, both positive and negative. So this concept is actually based on the notion that a person's experiences, beliefs, and values will shape their processes and the artwork itself. So for example, the person or artist who's grown up hearing stereotypes of different groups of people will characterize individuals by those stereotypes that they've heard growing up within their artwork. And I think specifically here we could argue that JK's discrimination or stereotyping of a group of people could be seen quite clearly in the Harry Potter series, where she stereotypes Jews as goblins in the Gringotts Bank. So considering both sides, it's clearly a difficult question to answer, and I think we're in danger of facing problems on both sides if we get the answer wrong. So on the side of separating the art from the artist, we actually run the risk of defending bad people because they once provided an unrelated good thing. But on the flip side, if we condemn a person's art with them, we risk losing arguably most of the art from the world, and the risk of losing nuanced thought. I'm not sure what the right answer is, or if there even is one. But I know how I think, and I'll do my best to articulate it as clearly as possible. So I've given this a lot of thought, and I'm confident there's no universal correct answer. I think ultimately it depends on a few things: how you view the work, the artist, what they intended, and the context. So if I run through those, first is the work, and how I view the work is simple. I love Harry Potter, and I don't care what anyone says, it's the appropriate amount for someone my age. But I love the world it's set in. I love the characters, the journey that Harry goes on to overcome evil, and even the side quest to become the man that he wished he'd had for himself growing up. Not only has it taught me a bunch growing up, but it's even become a comfort, and it's something that I listen to on audiobook regularly. The Stephen Fry version, of course. So next would be how I view the artist. I don't really have any solid views of her. I don't know her, so I just kind of see her like anyone else. She does some good things for charity, she does some bad things when she speaks publicly about certain issues, and because she's so well known and she has such a large platform, that it tends to be that the consequences of her actions are correspondingly huger. Simply put, I think her charity work is great, and I think the way she approaches sharing her views can be hurtful. Next would be what she intended for her work, and for this we can only go based on what she tells us. So, and I quote, "The idea that we could have a child who escapes from the confines of the adult world and goes somewhere where he has power, both literally and metaphorically, really appealed to me. I really like this, and I think we've seen this story before in like The Lord of the Flies or Pinocchio, and I think in both cases we see the kids quickly leaning on the lessons that the adults taught them. It's something I think she explores really well in the books, and something that has nothing to do with the views and opinions she perpetuates today. Lastly would be the context of the situation, and as for this, I think everyone involved could be more effective in how they handle it. So I think for the side of JK and anyone else that supports her, remember that there are a lot of people involved in these conversations that don't want to be, that they get dragged into these conversations just because they fit into a certain type or category, and in fact they just want to live their lives and figure out who they are. And for them, having a dispassionate conversation about how they identify, about who they are as a person, about what they believe in, is not easy for them to forget once the conversation's finished. So it's best to approach these conversations with care for the people that have to live through the things that you don't. And for those that disagree with JK and anyone on her side, it's important to remember that you're responsible for your feelings. My advice here would be to remember that two things can be true at once. A person can disagree with you and how you live your life, but still care for you and respect that you get to live your life however you want. Now, I realize I haven't actually answered the question I set out myself, and don't worry, I'm not going to be a complete politician and avoid being direct. I just needed to talk through the nuance first. I do believe you can separate the art from the artist, and in this case I do. No matter what I think about JK and her opinions about these controversial issues, it doesn't affect me from enjoying the world that she's created. And if I do have any contention with her views or how she approaches expressing her views, I can handle that separately from enjoying her work. So this was a heavy topic, but I hope you enjoyed how I talked about it and enjoyed the painting as well. And if you can, please let me know in the comments what you think of the question as well. Can you separate the art from the artist? Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more art and thought-provoking topics. And now, hopefully, you'll think a little bit more about art theory.